Welcome, everybody.
Sorry.
Somebody talking? No? Okay, cool. So we are going to get started in just a second. We are going to use the same document that we did last week. So let me grab the link for that. You're going to want to add your team name and all of the team members who are participating on this call. Do that, and that will be the sign-up order that we go through. And it's first come, first serve, so go add your name now to make sure that you have some time to present. And once you see the first name on there, start with room 1. We'll fill up room 2 once we get some more panelists there. And Peter, Simona, do you want to just give a quick intro? I know some of the people were probably here last week, but maybe there are some new faces. I'm going to send the link in the chat again. Please add your team name.
Simona, you want to go first?
Team members in the chat.
I can go first. So in a very small nutshell, hi everyone. I'm Simona. I'm currently heading up community for Status. Before that, I was the co-founder of the Bounties Network, creators of the Standard Bounties protocol, on top of which Gitcoin sits. Most of you will be familiar with Gitcoin. Other than that, I am part of the Metacartel DAO, Metagamma Delta, Whaler DAO. There's a whole bunch of DAOs that I'm a part of. But generally, I tend to help out across the ecosystem in terms of anything that will help us get to adoption and help us create very meaningful applications that will hopefully get Ethereum mainstream. I've been part of, or we're taking part in the ETH Global hackathons in some way or another for the past, what is it now, 3 years? Wow. And I'm excited to see what you guys have come up with, and hopefully I can help with the feedback that I will give you. Great to be here. Peter.
Hi, everyone. Recently I would consider myself a community builder in the space, but recently turned investor. I'm at 1KX, and I've also created the Venture DAO, the first investment DAO on Ethereum. And before then, worked in Metacartel, and still working on that. So actually looking to work with teams after the hackathon as well, and to receive grants on Metacartel. And yeah, I've been building in the space. So yeah, happy to see what people cook up.
Perfect. Scott, do you want to give a quick 30-second intro?
Yeah, hey, I'm Scott Lewis. Mainly work on a DefiPulse and a dex.ag. I like DeFi. I like most of the stuff people are building. I'm in some DAOs, but I don't run any like these other panelists. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what y'all are building.
Perfect. So we will have a few other people joining us. David and Austin from last week will also be joining in a few minutes. But we're going to get started now. So we're going to have 2 rooms once they join. And so don't be alarmed if you get pulled into another room where you see your order change on the sheet, which I just linked in the chat. Emily's over there, so if you have any questions, relay them to her, and then we'll get anything figured out. And then we're going to just start right off with the first team, which I believe is Stop Loss Protocol. We're going to keep all 3 of the panelists in here for now, and then once we get some more, like I said, we'll start to split people up. Stop Loss, do you want to go ahead and present?
Hey, so how should I start? With the product directly?
Yeah, sure. And just remember, I forgot to mention, try to keep it pretty short because we do have a lot of teams, but we're going to allocate 5 minutes per team.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. Thanks.
I have an issue. I have to restart my Zoom. I'm sorry for this. Maybe I'm gonna be second team or something like that. Have to quit and rejoin for the screen sharing.
Okay. Let's go to the next team while he does that, which is 20 Pay. Jack Sanford.
Hey guys, how's it going? Can you guys hear me? Oh, cool.
Yes.
Thanks. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're 20 Pay, and basically we are creating a very easy to use e-commerce checkout, so you can pay with any ERC20 token. So let me share my screen really quick. Hopefully this goes well. Zoom. Oh yeah, it's making me do the same thing that the last guy was doing. It's gonna make me quit Zoom. Okay. I'm not sure if I should should I just get back in the line after he goes then?
Yeah, we'll jump back once you restart. But yeah, go ahead and restart.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries. All right, let's see if we can get NewFi. Do you want to go ahead and present? Hopefully you don't have to restart.
All right, let's see. Yeah, this will be the test.
There we go.
All right, good deal. That got me scared. All right, cool. So yeah, NewFi. Our project is growing your net worth. Has never been this easy, and our target is really the crypto curious, crypto nervous, the 93% of the population that doesn't have exposure to digital assets. We all know, getting people into this ecosystem is a challenge, and there's just so many options in the DeFi world. And Scott, you mentioned DefiPulse and all these different tools are out there, but it's still really difficult to get into this stuff. But there are really practical benefits for people owning digital assets. So our project is really to capture that market. So what we're offering is a platform where you can invest with experts, the people that know the most about DeFi and crypto. You choose managers. This is all decentralized and non-custodial. You choose managers that fit your style. You can sort and filter based on how they perform or what they're invested in, what their pools are invested in, and you can allocate into stable or volatile pools that we're calling. Right? So our whole premise is, things like Yearn, and there's a lot of great protocols out there, but really it's still challenging for most people to understand, like, where should I put my money? So we really broke it down into stable and volatile pools. And then the investor has the ability to put their money into those pools in a proportion that really makes sense for them. So this is kind of like understanding the investor's risk and allowing them to get into those managers that will get them into investments that will return something for them, but safely as well. So I'll go through the demo, and we are, I'll tell you where we are in a few minutes, but this is our UX flow. We're not completely hooked up at this point, but I want to show you what we have at the moment. So there's two sides to NewFi. It's invest or manage. I'm going to go through the invest flow right now. So first you connect to your Web3 wallet, and then you can see the dashboard of available managers in the platform. So here, we see Jim and Jane and their stable and volatile pools and how they're doing overall and how much they've invested themselves into that pool, which could be an indicator of how much confidence they have in their strategy. When you view that pool, you see a breakdown of how it's performing over time, and you can actually get into those pools themselves, the volatile or the stable pool. And you'll notice that we have a 1% withdrawal fee, which is really an incentive for the advisor to get onto our system. And I'll talk more about that when we get into the advisor platform. But really the way that you get in to any of these pools is you invest ETH for a volatile pool, or you invest USDC, which is the two things that we chose at the moment. So it's very easy to get into these things once you provide ETH to the volatile pool. That money then goes into that ETH pool, and you're going to see the manager invest that on your behalf, and hopefully you have good returns on that, and you can view all of that within your dashboard, within your portfolio. You can also add or withdraw all to get out of that pool. All right. Any questions up to this point? Maybe I'll keep going. On the other side of this, we have our advisor or manager. And the manager, as explained, they are the ones who are coming up with the investor pool and coming up with that strategy. So they provide their profile name, which would be seen on that list that I showed before in terms of like available managers. They describe their pool strategy, and then they could tell us how they want to invest investors' funds in terms of volatile and stable pools. So in terms of volatile, they could put in ETH themselves, and then we would have some strategies that they could put that money into and allocate. For the hack right now, we're limiting our options. So for volatile, we have Yearn, but for stable, we have Yearn and stable, and then they could allocate proportions that they feel are going to outperform. So once they create that pool, this is the manager's dashboard, and they would see how they're doing in terms of their fee income. And this is really the incentive. Like I mentioned, like they want to do well because they're going to make more in terms of fees or get more people onto the platform so that they generate more fee income. They can edit their amounts that they have or invest more themselves. And they can also invite investors directly. So this is where, folks that might not be familiar with DeFi or crypto in general, this could be someone managing and saying, hey, I want to bring you into this system. It's very easy to use. Give me your email address. I'll send you a personalized message. And then they could get into, assets that are generating return for them. So that is DeFi. And here's where we're at in terms of the roadmap. We did idea and research at the beginning. Wireframes you just were shown. We have developed our contract, and we're integrating the front end right now. Eventually, we're going to add governance and future investments to the platform. So governance, I think, is a really huge aspect of the system where advisors will have a say, or managers have a say in how we add things to the platform and how this ecosystem grows. So yeah, that is DeFi.
Awesome. Yeah, why don't we move into questions or feedback?
Yeah, I really like the idea. Just like one small idea is like, in terms of like the pool managers, you're really like kind of enabling people to manage amongst like, predefined pools, right? At least that's what I'm assuming. You could probably, work with Zappa finances, like Zap contracts, because they're already out there. You have like, over like 100 different like LP pool positions amongst like Balancer, Uniswap, etc. And you could probably allow people to like play with that, right?
Yeah, it's a great idea.
How do you prevent the managers from like what's the mechanism that prevents the managers from running off with the money? Is it trustless or like contracts and stuff?
Yeah.
Or sorry, is
I
it
can
trustless
answer
or
that.
legal? Yeah.
Yeah, I can answer it. So I'm Herman. I'm one of the engineers working on the project. Yeah, it's also more contract based, right? So you can't, so there's only a limited amount of stuff you can do in the smart contract. So you give your money technically to a smart contract where the advisor is allowed to put it into urine or something, but they can't transfer that money into wherever they want, right? They can't just transfer it to their own wallet, or they can't transfer it anywhere they want. You see what I mean? So there's strategies they can invest into.
Basically whitelisting classes of transactions they can do. Okay.
Essentially, yeah. And so that whitelist can grow based on the governance. So if advisors want to add more different protocols and stuff, they can have a governance token and they can vote on that. But yeah, it is limited to what they can do. Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically like an arena for different people to do Y vaults, kind of. But if there are like 85 Y vaults and people could. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Basically.
Yeah, and another kind of cool aspect of the manager side of things too is that for a manager, you don't have to be a crypto expert, right? You have these kind of pre-built strategies that you can use, and you can like kind of get a good feel for it, but you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person, which is kind of a cool thing. What we're kind of trying to go for.
I mean, I hope. Wait, to be an investor or a manager?
No.
Both.
Oh.
Yeah. Full stop. I want my manager to be an expert for sure.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, for
like,
sure.
You can just find someone to do that knows what they're doing.
I was gonna suggest there was a project that was done. Was it ETH Denver this year or last year? I think it was by the guys behind Pull Together, or certainly some of the team members were from Pull Together, and it was called High Priests. And you basically followed what these people were doing in terms of causes or projects that they supported, and you put your money, or like you followed what they did, so that you would also put your money behind whatever projects they were supporting. But like Scott says, they were, let's say, experts, right? Like I would trust those people to pick projects based on experience, based on like know-how, all of that, pick projects that would be winning or would be beneficial. So you want those guys to be experts, and you want to have a very simple follow mechanism, so that you actually put that before any other steps if you're talking about noobs.
Yeah. And also, absolutely. I don't know what the jail. I agree with everything Simona just said. And I don't know what the jail risk is for managers. But if that's really, really, really low, like I feel, and y'all had users that actually wanted this, like it seems like something that would be pretty attractive, because like for an expert, not only can you make some money, you can also sort of like show your expertise to the community, which is kind of like generally also an incentive, you know?
Yes, for sure. When I say expert, I kind of mean you don't have to be a technologist, right? You don't have to be a programmer to understand what you're doing, right? You understand finance, you can learn more about crypto, you can start understanding how returns work, but you don't have to build your own smart contracts. You don't have to have that kind of technical knowledge, I guess is what I mean.
You probably still want people that know people like that.
So I actually agree. I generally agree in principle with like Simona and Scott here, but you know, taking like the other stance is like, you know, I think like this, someone's going to build this tool, right? You know, and it's a kind of permissionless in a way. Like someone's going to build a permissionless like pool manager that like, you know, kind of like curates, you know, a bunch of like preset and impossible like whitelisted pools, right? Someone's going to do this, I think. And, you know, I think like, can you like, yeah, like there's going to be a recklessness, but this is kind of the nature of Web3, I think, as well. Just like, you know, it's all permissionless, right? To some extent. I think that, you know,
but like,
it's hard to prevent people to.
Peter. Like, I know more secrets in the space than you do, Peter. So it's like, I'll be able to some insight whether there's like more curved bugs out there. Like, I think I think right now there's a lot of insight for like, asymmetric.
And that's what makes it appealing, right? Like that's what would make it appealing to me.
Yeah.
As a noob.
You're getting exactly.
I'm getting like a sneak, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole spiel of it.
Any final comments? I do hate to interrupt.
I like it though. It's great. It's a good idea.
Yeah,
Thank
same
you,
here.
guys. Thank you for all the feedback. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully the Zoom issues were resolved. We're gonna hit back up the list to stop loss. You want to try to share your screen?
Hey, yep. Hey guys. So I'm gonna try to do this. Yes, it's working. Okay.
Awesome. Go ahead.
So-
And remember, it's just 5 minutes for demo and questions if you can.
Okay, sure. So really quickly, we've seen with a lot of excitement the fact that centralized exchange have been replaced by decentralized exchanges, but they were providing other services like lending, and we've seen Aave that is doing this, and it's great. So building a protocol so that this protocol behaves as what the exchange was doing before in a centralized way, that is borrowing from users to others. And so there was this protocol Aave that does this borrowing. But centralized exchanges also offered other services like limit orders or stop loss offers. So basically you could say, okay, I'm going to take a risk by getting in this trade, but I want to be sure that in the worst case scenario, I'm going to be liquidated. And so that I know the worst case scenario, like I take risk, but I have a safety guard. And so with these price exchanges, we have kind of lost that. And so stop loss is a protocol to allow you to make stop losses. So we started on impermanent losses. So basically the fact that when you provide liquidity to a pool, you bring two assets like Ether and DAI in the Ether DAI pool, and you could lose a lot of DAI or a lot of Ether because the balance your liquidity changes. And so that's what the project we've built is a project that allows you to bring liquidity to a pool with one token. So it's a protocol. The protocol, what it does is you provide liquidity. You say, I don't want to, I never want liquidity to DAI ETH. You never want to have you provide, let's say, 3 Ether as liquidity in this pool, but you never want the impermanent losses to make it so that you have only 2 Ether. So you create a stop loss that says, okay, I provide 3 Ether as liquidity in the pool, but if the impermanent losses make it so that I have only 2 left, please liquidate me. And so that's how it works. It's a protocol. You said you set a maximum loss, and then you will have liquidators that will liquidate your position for you. So now the demo. So I unlock my wallet. Here I have so I have DAI, USDC, USDT, and these things. And so I can provide liquidity to the pool with DAI. So it's going to provide liquidity to the pool DAI ETH. So let's say that I want to provide 200 DAI. So it's going to convert it for me in ETH so that like I get LP in the end. And I can say, okay, I provide 200 DAI, but I don't want to lose more than 50 DAI. I want to be sure to always have 150 DAI. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a stop loss. And so what this transaction does is that first it uses my DAI to provide liquidity to the pool Ether DAI. And at the same time, it creates a stop loss offer that says at 150, liquidators can liquidate my position and give me back the 150. Oh, I need to reset, sorry. I'm sorry for this, of course, the demo. So you provide, again, 200 DAI, 150 guarantee. And so that's it. You have 200 DAI less. And so you have now provided liquidity to the DAI. I've pre-filled the stuff. So now you can see the stop loss you've done. So here, the one we just created is here. So we put 200 DAI in. We said that we want 150 guarantee, and the current value is 190. The health factor is more than 1, and as soon as it gets under 1, you will be liquidated. It is when your current value is close to 150. And in this case, here you can see that I've pre-filled some orders and 2 are at risk. So this one you provided 104 DAI, but it's, and the guarantee is 100 DAI, but the current value is 103. So this is at risk. And so a liquidator can liquidate your position. So now let's see what happens if a liquidator actually does it. So he goes to the liquidate section. Of course, it's going to be bot later, but for now, I've built this UI so that people can liquidate. So here you can see how we find the stop loss that we see. So as a liquidator now, I'm going to liquidate that. I have the right to do it because the health factor is negative, is less than 1. So I'm going to liquidate that. Hopefully, I don't have to set my account back. Yes, it seemed to work. So now, okay, I can't see that, but let's get back to the. Oh yes, now it's it. So it has been liquidated, and so now the liquidator he managed to liquidate the position. So he gave back to the stop loss orderer the amount that he wanted, and he received the fees. That was the extra amount because he liquidated just before it went to 100 DAI. So now if we get back to the initial user, so now you can see that, oh, my DAI has been here. You can see that in the closed stop loss offers, one has been executed. And you can see that the amount that has been withdrawn is exactly what you were guaranteed. So yes, and you can see now the DAI it's 215 and before it was 115. So that's how it works. It's basically you provide liquidity. You don't know a lot about impermanent loss, but you provide with one currency and you guarantee with the same currency. And at the end you get the currency order. Let's say this one. You can say, okay, now I want my liquidity back. I want the DAI back, and anyway. So I think that's it. So yeah, now you cancel it. So that's we see it as a protocol that would be more used maybe by other smart contracts or by, I don't know. But yeah, it really is a protocol more than an app. It's a protocol that ensures that you have liquidator that liquidate your position when you want it. So I think that's it for.
Yeah, let's move into questions if anybody has some feedback.
Yeah, that would have been my first question. What are the fees and how are all of these things covered? So transaction fees, you pay these liquidators, what's that dynamic?
Okay, so the dynamic is that here, so here I have, let's look at this order. Mm-hmm. The current value is almost 2. Mm-hmm. And the guarantee that I set is 192. And so the extra amount will be used to pay for liquidators. So basically you incentivize them to liquidate your position because it's profitable for them. And mm-hmm. at the same time, he has to pay the gas to make the transaction and gets back this value.
Got it. So they pay for the gas out of the money that comes from what they make. Okay.
Yeah, we liquidate them just a bit before they are in danger so that we can pay for the liquidators.
Got it. Okay.
Some food for thought might be like, it'd be really, really interesting if you could figure out a way for people to ensure the liquidity positions where it's like, you almost have this like, default swap, right? Where like, the others can bet that you'll never need to liquidate, right? Like it's almost like hedging this position. I don't know, it's a dumb idea, but like I was just thinking like if you have really, really, really large positions, right? And maybe you have these stop losses, but you ideally don't want them to really kick in. It's not in your favor. Maybe others are willing to like, bet on that, right? So just an idea.
Interesting.
Yeah, to me it feels a little more like a feature than like a standalone product. Like it might make sense inside of like a bigger interface. But that being said, I feel like it's a pretty novel feature. And also just kind of solving the stop loss problem. How do you how do you ensure that the stop loss is filled like at a reasonable time, or like at a price that's okay for the customer or for the user?
So it's exactly like the business model of Maker or Aave. That okay, you don't want it to be executed, but it's a worst case scenario. It's when you are at risk, and in this case, you pay fees so that people so that a liquidator does it for you. So really, is a guarantee. Let's say that the price, it's in the night and there is a very large permanent loss, and you're not here. You're going to be liquidated. You have this guarantee, and what is great with that is that you can give back an NFT to the person that has this position that will be always worth more than the amounts. But there's a lot of things we could beat around that. But,
yeah, I definitely MakerDAO sort of learned the hard way that these systems can be complicated for like these liquidation auctions. What would you say like the advantage of like what you're doing is? Is there anything about the way you're doing it in your system that's like a bit simpler or like safer than like what is currently kind of being built into all of the protocols that have to manage collateral?
Yeah, so actually it's really simple. Is that I built the subgraph that does it, and it's for building a bot that liquidates and that is that makes arbitrage. Like basically, it's super simple to do it, and it's just like people will make money if they liquidate. So I don't see a world where they wouldn't do it. Like
yeah,
if you see how much the arbitrage are hard to get in right now. If I say, okay, you can liquidate and you can earn free money pretty easily with a really simple API, because it's simple. You just have to follow the health ratio and liquidate when you can. So yeah,
cool.
Just liquidator should be making money. So I think that we could find something.
Yeah, no, it
makes sense.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well done. Good work.
Thank you guys for the feedback. I'm gonna stop sharing. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. So we thank you for presenting. We are still waiting for Austin to join, but we're gonna just bite the bullet and split into rooms because I want to make sure we get as many people as possible to go through. So Simona and Peter, I'm gonna throw you in the other room and then just start pushing people that way. You're good with that? Scott,
Yep.
You're gonna stay in here with me and Austin when he joins.
All right, cool.
So, let's try to get 20 pay. Hopefully you resolve your issues.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me see if this works. Share. Perfect. See that?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So 20pay, basically what we're trying to do is create a little widget that goes in an e-commerce store. And when you want to pay for something, so you see this is Kyber Network Store, and it says you can pay with, KNC, OGN, DAI, ETH, or credit card. What we want to do is make it so that you can pay with literally any ERC20 that is tradable on Uniswap, 1inch, etc. So basically, you go in a store like this, say you want to buy a shirt, you add a cart, check out, go to the checkout page, it's right here, and you have 4 options. KNC, DAI, ETH, OGN, and what we're going to do is throw our little widget right into here, and you're going to have the ability to pay with hundreds of ERC20 tokens, just like that. And the way it's going to work is we are literally going to call Uniswap 1inch on the back end. Right now we're using Uniswap. Call Uniswap on the back end and do a token transfer for you into the token that the merchant has requested and up to the amount that the merchant has requested. So we're still putting things together. Sorry, this is a little bit difficult to see here. But here's our little widget that we're going to throw in. We're going to change the look of this. This is kind of what we're playing around with on the front end. But basically, you're going to be able to drop down into what you want to pay with. It'll give you something like you need to add up to, 1 ETH, and then it will do the Uniswap trade on the back end for you. And so we have a lot of the smart contracts done and whatnot. We're just actually putting them together in the next few days here. So that's as far as I'll take the demo safely, but that's basically the idea.
Cool. Yeah, I think so. What part of this is what already exists, and what part is your project?
So
Does
yeah, we're literally just building the widget, and we're also going to build a demo e-commerce store that's going to look like this, but it's obviously not going to be functional except for demo purposes. And so what we're building
wait,
is,
I guess the thing I'm trying to figure out is me paying with DAI.
yeah.
Is that your project, or that's currently exists and you're just doing the switch from DAI to something else?
So you paying with those 4 currencies here on Kyber, that this currently exists. This is their e-commerce store,
Okay.
so you can do that. And then what we want to do is make it so that you can pay with, the 200 or 300 other ERC20 tokens that you can swap on Uniswap.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a problem right now for like merch stores, because if you accept the project's token, you probably have to sell that into the market, and then it seems like anti-community. But then if you pay in something else, you're like not using the token for the project, so it's weird. But definitely, like, you pay in DAI, and then I will market by whatever the project token is kind of like better for memes. So if I'm trying to growth hack my store,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hey, like, I'm accepting DAI, but I market sell that to buy based, so you can buy like my based money shirts or whatever, right? That meme is going to spread better on social media, because everyone that has those bags will want to spread it. So I think that's actually kind of like a cool like little hook that's not currently available to people that want to sell crypto project related stuff.
Right.
Who do you see as like your core user?
So the core user is just going to be any, sort of random e-commerce store that is trying to get up and running, or trying to get a little bit of traction or get people excited. And then we'll make it so that they're able to, people that want to buy stuff there are able to use literally whatever's in their MetaMask account, and it's going to work.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know how far you plan on pursuing this after the hackathon, but I think there's currently like a missing spot in the market where like I can go on Figma, toss together some designs or whatever, Adobe or whatever I'm using, and then I can do drop shipping really easily. But this sort of widget can kind of like fill that missing link, because I want the payment to be like in my currency. And
Right.
for like newly launched coins, whether they're fair launches or farms or whatever, letting community, that's sort of like a good first project for like community members. And if you like created this like kind of like SDK, but like entrepreneurial kit,
Right.
and your widget was part of it, it might actually, I don't know. I think there might be people, like projects would direct their users to use your thing to do the merch stores.
Yeah, that's a
Which might be
super cool idea. So basically what you're saying is you want to spin up a store, like you can drop ship super easily. Let's also have you make a token super easily, give it out to your, early adopter users, and then they can pay with that token immediately in your store.
Well, sort of, it, like, okay, like when Wifey launched, right? I was sort of like playing around. It'd be fun to like toss up a really quick Wifey merch store, to like sell Wifey shirts or hats or whatever. And like, what you really want to be able to tell people is that you pay me in stable coins, and then, but I'm actually going to like stack Wifey when you buy the shirts. So it's like you're buying the shirts in stable coins, helps me accumulate Wifey and buys Wifey on the market. So it's like for the community, the more shirts that store sells, that's all wifey being bought on the market. So it's like a very monetarily insignificant amount of the grand scheme of things, but it's like a fun thing to share. So it's a good like growth hack for both early communities and the person that launches well, is selling the shirts, and sort of by extension your widget.
Right. Yeah, I could see something like that for sure.
Oh,
that's a cool idea.
Yeah, I might like focus in on like one very narrow core first user and kind of build the experience around their needs rather than just kind of like for everyone.
Yeah,
just I think for bootstrapping.
I think that's a really good idea. It's going to be hard to penetrate the market if you don't have a specific place to focus.
Yeah, but I've definitely like wanted something like this in discussions with like early communities, because it is like a problem. Because you know, if you buy in the token, like you know, like Bitcoin community is like, I don't want to pay in Bitcoin because like that Bitcoin just gets sold, right?
Right.
And so like this sort of solves that problem in like a pro-social, pro-share way. It's kind of neat. I don't know.
Interesting.
I think I've already chimed in on this too, and I think mine was all about making it really easy for the developer to integrate, right? Being able to just like npm install whatever it is, and it just like works out of the box. This cool little trick of on the way through you can swap it to different tokens, and kind of I just caught the back half of that conversation, but how kind of on the way through you can swap that for different tokens and how that can have some meme value to it in terms of what you're stacking on the other side. That's fun.
Yeah.
And like once you become once any product becomes known as like the easy thing to recommend, like it's in a niche market, like it'll just sort of be included in docs or be included like in like the conventional wisdom, and then you can like kind of get a toehold that's like you can build from.
Right, because this isn't like the sexiest thing to market around, so I think you're right. That is kind of the way we have to get the toehold.
Yeah, like no competitor or you will be able to afford an advertising campaign to like get this out there, right? So it's like it's like once there's a standard, it sort of just sticks until the standard messes up.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
I don't know. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for the feedback. That's a really cool idea. I don't think we had thought of that. So I'm going to think a lot more about that and think about where we want to target early users.
Okay. Thanks, man. Well, good luck.
Cool. Thanks so much. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Jack. Moving right along, we're going to see if Machu Picchu is ready. And if they...
Yep, yeah. Let me share, yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
You are muted, if you intend to be muted.
Yep, hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, like we were on the idea validation round also, like we are creating a platform for farmers for risk sharing, if you guys remember. So we had 3 different roles: farmers, enablers, and watchers, in which farmers will go to enablers and deposit their rupees to them for the compensation, and the enablers will provide them address and mint tokens for them, and that will be used when the farmers have their crop loss and all those things. That will be used to compensate them at the last. So I will go through the flow first, and then I'll show you the demo. So first of all, there will be farmers. They will have only fiat currency, but they will have no computer, no blockchain knowledge to use. They will go to enabler. Enabler will be person who will be identified using blue, so that it's like head of the village or some people will be identified, and farmers will get their money to them. Then enabler will use Portis or any other service to generate wallet for the farmers, basically addresses and all those things. And after that, enabler will send a request to our dApp with the new address and the mobile number and the amount to register this particular farmer to the system. Now this particular system will send an OTP to farmer's mobile, in which farmer can see like, yeah, the amount that is going to be minted is correct, and and the address is there or not, right? So all this thing will be in the OTP message, and farmers can verify that because they don't have knowledge for blockchain, so they can't use the platform directly, but they can have a OTP service, messaging service to see all these things. Once farmers get the message, they will have the option to check whether the amount is correct or not, details are correct or not. And if it is not, then they can just like they won't proceed from there. And if it is correct, they will get their OTP back to the enabler, and enabler will use that to generate the token. Now, all the tokens from all the farmers will be deposited in a pot. So this pot is like a global pot, and from this pot we are trying to create a money market kind of thing. Like this pot will be deposited on Compound or Aave kind of thing, right? And from there, watchers can swap or borrow tokens using ETH or some other cryptocurrency, so that they can have tokens. So watchers are the people all over the world who will use the satellite data to assess the crops of the farmers who have deposited in the pot, right? If what okay, and before watchers do the assessment, they have to do staking, and for that they will not need tokens. So they will take the tokens from any swap or some Aave or Compound, and they will do the assessment after doing the staking part. So again, the stake will come in our dApp, and the assessment will be done by the watchers. And after a certain period of time, let's say 1 month, a final calculation will be done. Based upon that, farmers will be compensated their money, and the watchers will be given back the stake. But if they are not close to the result, some stake will be cut. If they are very close to the stake, they will be rewarded some point. So in this way, watchers will earn, and farmers will also be compensated if they have a crop loss. So this is the basic idea and the basic flow. Right now we have developed 80% of it, but we have some sponsors to integrate to it. So this is the first page, and it has two options to choose the wallet from. What is a MetaMask? Let's say I go with MetaMask in this case. Yeah. So this is the account of a member. We can see here this member has deposited 80 RUP tokens out of 100. 100 is the total pot contribution, right? Now, if this member wants to contribute more, he will just go here. Let's say he add 20. Now, when he's adding 20, he's actually giving 20 rupees to the enabler that is present in his village. And this enabler will click this button, proceed, and send OTP. Okay, now this OTP will be sent to the farmer's registered mobile number, so that farmer can verify yes, 20 RUPs are being minted for him, and that is being deposited to the pot for his account, right? So now we can see the timer kind of thing, right? So within 3 minutes, farmer will get a OTP. So this OTP is basically a random number that we are getting using the Chainlink VRF. And I have created a external adapter that uses some message service, and from the on-chain data, on-chain OTP is sent to farmer's mobile, and from that mobile, when we enter this OTP here, it will again be sent to our smart contract to verify. So in our smart contract, we have stored the hash of the OTP, and the OTP that will be entered there. They will be matched. If they matches, then yes, the farmer has authorized the transaction kind of, and so I have got the OTP now in my mobile. And when I click on verify and contribute, yep. After this transaction is completed, now this particular farmer has contributed 20 more RUP tokens to the pot. Similarly, we have watcher roles and enabler roles. Watchers will have the option to stake and do the assessment for the group. So we can see 120 is the total pot amount now, and 100 is the contribution of this particular farmer. Similarly, we can switch between different accounts to showcase to that, but as time did not permit and our flow is very big, so I'll stop here. I think this gives a bit demo of what we are trying to build and what we have built till now. So yeah, we are open for questions now. Until you guys want to go further, also I can go for that demo also. Yeah.
There's a ton going on. You want to go, Scott? You go if you want.
No, go Austin.
Okay.
I was just gonna really quick add that you made a ton of progress. I remember from the previous call we talked about this, and I'm just impressed how much the ideas crystallized since that call. But it's pretty cool. But yeah, go ahead, Austin.
So there's a ton, you've got a lot going on here, right? There's a lot of different systems at play. You've got Chainlink, you've got swaps happening. You have the one-time password mechanic. And I think I say this to a lot of people that have these big, ambitious projects. First of all, it's awesome, right? Like, it's great to be experimenting with all of these systems, but there's almost always going to be something you find along the way, like that one-time password thing that isn't standardized within the space yet, right? Maybe there's not a system just to do that one-time password thing. Maybe there totally is too. I don't really know that much about it in particular, but that alone could be a really good hackathon project, right? Just being able to set up a system like that. So that regardless of that, like let's go to the human part of this. And I think that's what's the key piece here is you're doing a lot of onboarding and you're interfacing with a lot of humans, and a lot of humans have to understand these systems. And so I think that the best first start, not on the hackathon side, obviously building it, but getting it in people's hands and seeing how they use it, just trying it with some of your friends and trying that onboarding process with them. You might find some things along the way that can really inform how you build the thing. So I don't know if that's not necessarily like hackathon advice, but more like I've been through a lot of hackathons building a lot of these things, and I learned so much just by having a couple other people try it out and go through it. And I would do that with that onboarding process that you have set up.
Yeah, real quick, just can you go back to the flow?
Let me.
Because
Yeah.
also, Austin, I mean, we're kind of in a hackathon. I'm not sure what sort of prizes we're trying to get. So sometimes there can be an incentive for a slightly more complicated
Checking off the
flow.
list. Yeah. Checking off some names.
Yeah, but if we're going to take this to market, everything that's not on the screen right now in that upper right-hand corner, that can just go away. I think we all can agree on that. Because I think whether this works or not is not going to be dependent on whether we're getting a little interest or doing some swaps. It's going to be dependent on whether like farmers want this insurance, whether they trust this system or not, you know?
And you almost may not even start with farmers, right? You may find a similar subset of humans that wish to participate in this that aren't necessarily farmers, that may be easier to onboard at first, right? Maybe it's like kids at an arcade or something. Like I don't know exactly what it is, but you can pick out some other subset that might be easier to get on board also.
Well, he has this.
I love farmers.
This cool
He does have it set up.
Cool enabler. No, there's this like enabler system where the
local
farmer actually
enabler.
doesn't.
Okay.
They just keep their piece of paper.
Okay.
And like the guy at the local shop kind of does it for them.
The enabler is the one on the ground.
Okay. Yeah, it's like someone you trust from town, essentially. But like, you know, like post hackathon, strip out everything except for what you really need if you want to really pursue this, and just go try it and see if anyone actually wants to buy it, or like, you know, hold a giveaway in the first like season where like you just give away the insurance to like some subset of farmers if you can find someone to back you, and they buy the insurance and give it away, and just see if the simple version works, you know, because you'll know whether people care about this or they don't care about it if you offer it to them and you hear what they really say. And if people are saying they actually want this, and you can make sales on like a very simple, like something that like you're proud you did it, but you're not really proud of how well it works type of product, that can be validation to like take this bigger, because it is like a big market you're addressing. But you really have to get that answer. Does anyone care? Like, does this system appeal to like your core stakeholders that you need to care about this, you know?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. So next thing that we are targeting right now is to find out a system to like identify enabler. For that, we are looking into Bloom right now, but we have to integrate it yet. And one more thing was like regarding the reputation of the watchers. I think Scott suggested us to look into beauty contest, right? So one of our team member looked into it and got an idea from that regarding the reputation token and all. Yeah. Any suggestion, guys?
I think that was Scott who suggested that, right?
Yeah, Scott suggested it. Yeah.
Yeah, just go to market. Go to market and see if it see if people care. If people care, you might like, it could be a really big thing.
Yeah.
But also the simplification there, I think that my last piece of advice is it's like way too complicated, and I would be looking at one simple mechanism or one simple loop, and I would want to try that loop, give it put it in people's hands and see how they use it. And really, you can't do that during a hackathon. I get that, but like maybe your friends, maybe you just have a fake round where you guys just pretend like you're doing it and you go through it. You'll notice a lot of things while using it.
Yeah. Doing a testing. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Colby. Good to see some progress on this from last week.
Yeah. Thank you. Let me stop sharing.
Yeah, cool.
All right, next up, we have D-Beats. You guys still around? You want to try to
Yeah, hi. We are Team D-Beats. Basically what D-Beats is, it's a decentralized platform for independent artists through which they can incentivize. So how we are making this possible is there is a subscription-based pattern. So whenever a person has to listen to the artist's music or his albums, he has to pay a basic subscription fee. Through that fee, they will be enabled to listen his tracks, and that fee is completely reversible. Like if he wants to unsubscribe, he will get back whole amount. Like there is no deduction, and even the gas cost will be paid through our system. So he just have to pay for that fee. And what this will initiate for the artist is basically whatever the fees will be collected smart contract, those will be posted into compound, and over the period whatever the interest will be gained, that will be distributed to the artist. So it's a win-win situation for both the artist as well as the subscribers, and then we can build things on top of this platform. So I would like my teammate to show us a demo.
Hello, I'm Vinay. I'm a member of this team. Can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to show you the overall flow of our app, and then I would like to do a demo which till now we have created. Okay, can you see my screen? The draw.io.
Yep, we got it.
Okay, the technologies we used are Portis Audius, Compound, Textual, and Matic. Okay, so I want to start by asking a question. Do you all know about Audius? What it is? It's a streaming music streaming platform. Okay, like everyone can go on that platform and listen to some musics on which everyone can be a creator. Okay, like if you are a creator, you can create your music, then you can upload on their platform, and everyone else can listen to your music. Okay, but there is no way to get into the blockchain bit in that part. What we think is of this subscription based decentralized system in which the subscribers can subscribe to the artist which they like the most. Okay, like and then the money they have subscribed, like we have now just used a sort of like this is our app, and there are so many trending tags. Okay, here, so if someone clicks on a app and he starts to listen, but he cannot listen after 10 seconds, we have given a restraint on that system. Okay, and when he clicks on subscribe, some staking money, okay, he will stake some 0.25 ether in this demo to the contract address. Okay, and then that money will go to the contract, and then it will go to a compound API, which will in case supply it to the CETH tokens. on which we will get almost 3% overall interest rate. Okay, and then once he has subscribed it, then you can see all the artist tracks. Okay, he has just played his one song and he subscribed to the artist, but we can now listen to all of the songs and we can listen it freely. Okay, now he doesn't have to like wait for 10-second reload and all. He can just skip to any part and listen the full song. Okay, and then what is the next part is like, if he tries to like he has subscribed for like a month or a 2 month period, and then he likes to like get his money back, or he has bored, or he just needs to just take his money and subscribe to some other artist, then he can do it easily by clicking this unsubscribe button, which will sorry, the API just failed, which will in case call the bioeconomy API. Okay, which will call the bioeconomy API, and that way our transaction would be gasless. Okay, like here are all the bioeconomy APIs we have set up, which are supplied to supply the to compound, redeem the CETH, and send that ether to the user, to the subscriber itself, and then.
So basically, what we want is, we don't want the end users to pay the gas fees.
Yeah.
They just want to stake the amount, and that incentive will be earned by the music creators.
Okay.
And this is a stable stream through which the music creators can earn, rather than some tokens or anything.
Yeah. See, now I've unsubscribed it. Okay, and then it will send a request to the bioeconomy API, which I don't know why it declines every time, every some time. Wait a minute. Actually, this is just work in progress. We are going to see this issue, why it is going on. The bioeconomy API setup was just done in last day. So
yeah, so this is our work till now.
Yeah, and there is like a second option to like, if you're not a long-term support of that artist, if you just like that artist and you listen to his songs like so much time, then you can just give him a one-time donation. Okay, and that can be done through Portis, and then like the artist will get his money, and then like the artist will get a big amount of incentives. Okay, like he doesn't have to wait a long term for the interest to go back to his account, and then he can just like start creating his own content more and more often. Like, till now, this is our demo.
Awesome. This is a cool project. This is a good use of APIs. Like you do a good job of not reinventing the wheel. These guys can do meta transactions for us. These guys can handle the music stuff. I want to kind of dig into the how you're handling the music stuff. I'm guessing it's just like an Audius API. It's not like you're putting these songs in IPFS and stuff, right? They're handling that. Okay. So you as the app builder have to pay some subscription to Audius for the API, and then that gives you the ability to have a service that plays songs. Is that how it works?
No, actually, it's completely free to get their songs and everything.
Awesome. So it's like a kind of like a free Spotify API in a way.
Yeah.
See, now I have unsubscribed from this, and it has ran successfully. Okay, now you can see like I have 14.9. and suddenly increased like 0.25
the whole value is returned.
Balance.
So how are you guys doing the subscriptions? Which
okay, for now we are like when the artist is subscribing it, the whole money goes to a contract address. Okay, in the contract address, all the calculations like supplying the ether to a compound to the compound address like as a whole, and then getting the interest, and then redeeming the ether, and then sending it back to the subscriber who paid it. So it's like a no profit no loss for the user to listen to the artist. Okay. So like for when we subscribe, then the supply to it compound calls, and then it checks whether the contract address has enough balance in it, and then it supplies to the compound. Here you can see, this is last time when I checked, and now the ETH tokens are increased in the address. This is the compound read compound address, sorry, compound ether read contract, from where we can fetch. We
basically by building on top of this, we have managed to get a sweet spot out of everything through which there is a win-win situation for both the parties.
Say that again. Sorry, I missed that last little part.
Yeah, so basically by building on top of these, we have got a sweet spot, like basically a small incentive, and that creates a win-win situation for both the parties, the artists as well as the subscribers.
Yeah, and the instant artist onboarding is a great idea. That's what, like with Nifty Inc., that was like one thing that we really wanted to focus on, is when an artist gets in, it's free for them. They don't even have to know about blockchain. They can just get in and kind of do their thing, right?
Yes.
And then on the other side, the subscriber side, that's the guy who pays and has to put in the money and understand the wallet and stuff like that.
Yes.
And also we are planning further, if we are able to complete it till the end of hackathon, to like make the subscriber fee convert there on our site through 1inch APIs or something. So he
How
can
does the
convert
security
and he can
work?
pay in his vote, whichever will keep.
Yeah, security work.
How do you detect like they've already only watched 15 seconds and like that's definitely not in the smart contract. That's definitely something in the front end.
Yeah, like we have just the users who have not subscribed to anyone will just like there are free songs. Okay, anyone who will listen to free songs can only listen up to 10 seconds. He need to subscribe to those songs which he likes the most. Okay, like he's getting a demo like how the songs is gonna be in the starting 10 seconds. Okay, and then if he likes that song, he can subscribe to it, and when he subscribes, then he can listen the whole song. For that, we have like used Matic contracts to do these fast transactions. Okay, like when we subscribe now, the whole bunch of like artist IDs goes into the arrays of the contract, Matic contract, because it is a layer 2 solution. It is much
cheap
more
also.
faster than the ring, yeah, and cheap, and also much faster than the Ring B Ethereum network. That's why we used it.
Awesome.
This looks great, guys. Scott, do you have anything? Otherwise, I think we should try to get in a few more teams before.
Yeah, no, I like Dawson's feedback. It seems like a cool project.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Good
thank
stuff,
you.
guys.
Keep building.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna try to fit in these last three teams here in the time we have. So blockchain ARPG, do you guys want to try to present?
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Alfred Schecker. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm working with my partner Zachary Law on blockchain ARPG. Unfortunately, Zachary couldn't be here today. He's driving, I think, from work. But so basically, I'm gonna show a demo of our game so far, and then talk about it and talk about what we're doing in terms of the blockchain stuff. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my Unity page, and then I'll show you the program running also on WebGL. So you guys can see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So essentially, for our project, we were inspired by Stanley's idea from Avi in creating the concept of an interest-bearing esports like competitive tournament. Essentially, the idea that we have is we wanted to create a kind of competitive game where like players don't fight directly with each other, but like kind of they kind of compete in the goal, and the person who achieves that goal gets the prize. So essentially what we came up with here is a bit of a mix of a Diablo style game with Call of Duty Zombies, where like the point of the game is to survive as long as you can in an area, and you know, kind of use your power-ups, whatever you have, to defeat as many zombies as you can, get to the furthest level, and then whoever does would be the winner. So I'm just going to quickly show a demo of what we have so far of the game itself, and then we're going to talk about the blockchain aspects. So just going to hit play here. We're going to see we have my player character here. We kind of have like this isometric view. If you've played Diablo, it should be a bit familiar. We have one of the zombies here kind of shambling towards us. If you hit C here, we have a character sheet, and I brings up an inventory. So I'm going to go ahead and start swinging at him. You can see him kind of like reel back a bit. If I want to back up here, I can shoot a fireball towards him. So eventually he's going to die. So he's dead. And he has dropped an item here. So if I go up here and pick up this item, you can see it popped in my inventory. I got some chainmail. If you were paying attention, the armor here went up a little bit, and so did the HP. So basically, you pick up an item, it affects your character stats, and of course, the character stats affect how fast you die, how much you can hit, and all that stuff. Obviously, if you played any kind of video game, this should be familiar. And if you want to drop the item, you can just hit drop. The armor goes back from 14 to 10, health back from 1 to 5 to 100. So it's kind of the idea that you would go around, you'd kill these enemies, they would randomly drop loot, and you would get this loot to empower you and, mix and match what you want based on what kind of build you want. If you want to focus more on your magic spells or your attacks. Obviously, these are just like the first steps that we have for making something like this. And the enemy, of course, is very basic, just like chases you down and slaps you a bunch and does damage to you. So we're going to go ahead and if I can get this, why is this share screen UI in my way? All right. So we're going to get this out of the way here. So essentially what the idea is with this is that you go through and we also have like a quick little level I can test. I can show you. It's not fully like finished, but this is another like example of what kind of aesthetic we're going for. So these kind of visuals here. This is a level made by my partner Zach. So this is just kind of an idea of what we're going for. We still have things to tweak. Obviously, as you can see here, like the edge of the level is showing with the camera angle and certain things like that. But you can still fire, attack. There's enemies here somewhere. Yep, here you go. Here's one of the enemies. Same deal. Just kind of beat them up and they drop their items. Drop items, and we can see in the character sheet here, staff, all that stuff. So the concept with this game, the idea is that we want to have the players compete with each other and go through these like dungeons that have these enemies. And there'll be like different types of enemies and the idea is that at the beginning of the week, so we want to use Aave in a way that at the beginning of like the tournament cycle, they stake money, or like they would stake and the funds would be pooled into an Aave liquidity pool to gain interest throughout throughout the duration of the tournament, and then at the end of it, whoever wins, whoever has like the best time, like furthest level, whatever we decide on being like the ultimate like winning condition, whoever wins that is the person who gets to take all the interest, and then everybody else kind of takes back what they staked. So nobody really loses. You just kind of like you just kind of like play to try and gain over what you staked. And then another thing that we want to implement too, or that we are working on currently implementing, is the certain enemies will drop based on, they will drop the loot box based NFT, like they will drop like a kind of NFT that will give you like a special ability or a special item that will greatly increase your chances of winning. And this is triggered using the Chainlink alarm clock to trigger like the randomness for these loot boxes to show up, so that we can guarantee that they're random and they're not like somehow deterministic or they're like rigged somehow or whatever, right? So essentially these loot boxes would show up out of like boss enemies, or they would be like legendary drops. If you've ever played like World of Warcraft or some other video game like RPG like that, you get that one legendary drop that only comes around like, if you're super lucky, and then that item, is the NFT, and it's a big deal because it gives you a big boost. That's kind of like the idea that we're going with here. Is just kind of have these like, like zombie style Diablo game. See where we can go with that and take these blockchain concepts further. This is our first blockchain hackathon, so it's first time working with like smart contracts and stuff like that. So we're definitely excited to be getting into this kind of technology. But I understand if we're thinking too much, or if you guys have any feedback towards what we're thinking of. Like this is kind of like our first time tackling something like this. I've made games for a while, and so has Zach, but we have experience in the game making department. It's just the blockchain stuff that's kind of brand new to us. So any feedback, would be much appreciated. And if any questions you guys have, if I explain something weird or something, I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah,
too,
no.
Personally,
I have some feedback for you. I think so in general, like at least in the States, I'm not sure where you're from in the States, all of our sports leagues are like trying as hard as they can right now to get legalized gambling on sports. And it's because like people will watch a sporting event they don't care about at all, and it'll be fun to watch if they have just a little money riding on it. It's sort of like using steroid for engagement. And until very, very recently, like with Ethereum kind of blockchain running with not that many transactions per second and slowish blocks and high fees, it's been impossible to kind of have these real money games on Ethereum. But I think, and actually Austin's, I think, is involved with like kind of Dark Forest has shown that you can like have a game that people, even though there's not real money in it, you can have a game that people are interested and engaged to play, like running over like XDAI, which that one was run. But I think the market, I think this is a market that like maybe I think a game that maybe a smaller team has created can compete with a much more fully featured game by only adding this like extra engagement of like the money being on the line. And I would say just do this and ship something. Because I think you're going to find that there are a lot of people that will play this game that may not play a game without that money on the line, because it's just a little more like, you know, like when you win, there's like a little more to be happy about, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I also think the mix of it being like a skill game versus like a game of luck is treated differently by laws in a lot of places. And then on top of that, no one's losing. It may be much easier to like keep this within the spirit of the law than like gambling on games, which is what kind of a lot of people tried to do before now, like in blockchain and gaming. And so I actually like the model, and like I would be surprised if you ship your MVP. I think you'd have some people that would try it out and might play and see how it does. I like it.
I think my main feedback like is like, first of all, the aesthetic of the game is gorgeous, right? Like your game, exactly like you said, your ability to make a game is obviously really come together. For me, the question is, and it is for you too, you're saying how, you know, like how does that really merge with blockchain and what are we going to do? Like, I'm assuming that most of the game mechanics are sort of off chain, and maybe you're using blockchain for tokens or like, are all those upgrades going to be on chain? Are you going to find a side chain or something that's like cheaper or faster? Is it just like the final, like once it goes into Aave on mainnet, there's like that transaction, and then everybody's kind of competing in the game that's not really in a smart contract to finally win that money at the end? Like where's the actual, like, what does the solidity look like here, I guess? Or where's the smart contract action? And don't let that discourage you. Like you should keep building this, and we should figure out how to make it work. Like I love the aesthetic in the first place. We'll figure out how to make it fun on chain. I just want to know what you're thinking about that.
Yeah, for sure. So we're thinking of using like an NFT smart contract, and like, so you saw like there was an item that like dropped out of the enemy. So like not every item would kind of be on that NFT like on the NFT smart contract where it would give you the token. You know, it would only specifically be something from like the end game, like, you know, like one of like the end dungeon bosses or whatever, like one of the big enemies that would come after like a few dozen waves or something like that. Because, you know, in zombies you'd have like the smaller enemies, and then eventually you'd get like the bigger boss type enemies like that would eventually show up if you go far enough. So those would have the chance to drop that kind of like legendary loot would be like the NFT token. And you know, we were talking, I'm thinking we were thinking of using
though,
stuff
you're
like
talking
magic.
about chance.
Right.
Does the player trust you and your servers that the randomness is happening? Do you go to an oracle?
We use Chainlink, Alarm Clock, and VRF for the randomness, so that way it's like a verifiable like randomness, so that they don't feel like they're being cheated or there's any kind of like rigging going on. to, you know, what you do when you get the, and, you know, like your chance to get it. So they would still have to kill like the certain enemy, but then that certain enemy would be the one who would trigger that verifiable like random function that would then, you know, either give them the item or not give them the item. And then if they get the item, then they would have that token.
I've had this idea of like almost like a game master. Like you guys are the Dungeons and Dragons game master in a way where you are kind of having to play God in a lot of ways, where they still will just run around on your servers and they'll be playing around and they'll be trying things. But there'll be maybe some moment where within the game on your servers, they do well and they get this magic dice roll online. And that's kind of what you're talking about is your
Right.
tool, your blockchain tool is this magic dice roll maybe. And
Right.
so then what they get is they play their game, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this guy achieved the magic dice roll. So the game master basically like, you know, allow lists them to go access that. And then, you know, I'm with you now. I got you. That's cool. So keep building this stuff. This is really cool stuff. Like I love seeing such, you know, like such passion in the design and the aesthetic. I love seeing stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that feedback. And also another thing is for like the lower transaction fees, that's why I was saying we are thinking of using like Matic as kind of like a side chain for any of the lower transaction fees. Like that's something we're thinking about doing, but we're mainly going to put for like the chain link one for the verifiable.
Yeah, you can kind of do some decentralize as you need, right? Progressive
Right.
decentralization. Yeah, I gotcha. So like maybe in the middle there's some side chain stuff where it's just like quick, fast transactions. Then when they go to Aave and mainnet stuff, then that's a bigger even still, but then like some off-chain stuff is just your servers and that's the 3D stuff and the guys moving around. I like that. That's a cool system.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Alfred, for presenting. We're going to try to fit in two more projects real quick. Clash of Gears and DeFi Poly. Clash of Gears, are you ready to go?
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Xiaxu Lin, and then the project I'm building, the name is called the Clash of Gears. And then the goal of this project is that we have building multiple like different physical robot, and then people can have a website, and then they can like assign for the robot on the website, and then we can like assign the robot for them. Then they can use their robot to fight each other, and then basically we are going to use like AV to ask user to stake into their money in the first at the beginning of the competition. So basically this will be like a e-sport robot competition. So like people stake their interest into the competition first, and then they choose or like building their robot to fight their way to the top. And then for each robot, they have like a different unique skill represent as NFT, and then like you can do many stuff, unique thing to defeat the other robot, and then like in the end, like whoever robot stand to the last wins. Like because my English is not my strong suit, so I'm going to show you guys a demo video while I'm talking, and then think you better show what I mean by that. So, give me 1 second. So but basically, like my goal is that we can allow the user to design their own robot in a way, wherever the way they want, and two robots can fight each other. And then in terms of the blockchain, we can like each robot were assigned to a unique skill as NFT, and then during the fight, user can also draw a random card like random card, random skill card, and then you will generate by the chaining. So like the thing we show on the video here. So this is one design of our 3D printing robot, and then I'm currently working on the other one. Like this one is haven't fully finished yet, so that we have different shape of robot we can provide to user, and the user can modify or create a robot like the way they want. So like currently I'm still beginning still learning about the blockchain technique. So I would like my friend to talk more about how the blockchain to work is able to work with this project.
Yeah, hi guys, this is Irvin over here. To kind of summarize, really the concept came about because there's this iOS mobile app, and essentially the app is about robots and allow you to kind of put together your robots and they fight. But we think that's very simple. So since Sean is working on like AR and VR stuff, and I've been looking into that stuff, I feel like when you look at battle bots, right, and people are controlling these robots within a certain location and fighting, etc. I think ideally what we want to see in the near future would be sort of these kinds of events, but except that people could control these robots remotely. And one interesting idea is that rather than just the skills of the robots existing in the physical world, they could exist in the virtual world. So for example, Sean 3D printed this flipper and swatter. Well, the swatter itself could perform different kinds of motions that could be represented as a type of NFT. And so in essence, either these kind of skills could be earned or rewarded as you fight more different kinds of robots. And in the near future, as Sean was showing his designs that he's working on, it would be really cool to have a way for people to kind of build these robots remotely and just have them fight each other. So essentially you're designing your kind of robot, and there's like these machines that allow you to put things together already. And then you can just fight between each other. And essentially we turn this into kind of like an esport thing. So similar to the concept from Avi, where you can have a tournament and people could just fight. And a few other things. So we're still working on the front end because really what we want to do is we want to be able to have a camera so it shows these two robots and just streaming this whole tournament happen live, and then just allow the people that are playing, the two people that are fighting each other, to connect to the robots just via WebSocket. So we have that sort of going on. And essentially, if they want to join the tournament similar to the previous game and the other ones, they would have to essentially stake. And I'm not sure if Sean Su went over that, but the robots themselves internally, we attach some little sensors so that we can notice if the robot gets flipped. And since currently it's running a Raspberry Pi, we're just listening to events happening on the smart contract, and we're also send an event that something has happened overall. So really, that's what we're going for. It's been a bit tough just with the robots, but I think we might be able to pull this through maybe. In the next coming 7 days. Definitely the robot part was pretty hard.
This is really cool. It's a lot of fun. It kind of goes to the same thing of like, where's the blockchain? Where isn't it? And how do you focus on finding the, I actually had a very similar idea of having a camera on a world and then letting people interact with that world on chain. Like, could I set up my fish feeder on my fish cam, so if someone paid like $1 of X DAI, it would feed my fish, right? And then their interaction with the physical world and the virtual world, and there's this element of blockchain there too. There's a lot going on here for sure, but I love the idea of there's this live cam somewhere, like this live view of like an eagle's nest or something, but really it's these two robots, and these two robots can basically be controlled by, maybe it's a DAO, right? Maybe you have you have a DAO controlling each one, and people are like buying into the DAOs or using a token vote or some of these weird like kind of on-chain mechanics, but to control like these two physical robots that are slapping each other on the other side of the world. I think it's a really fun experiment, and I like the style of all of this.
Thank you. We were thinking initially about doing like a chess robot thing, but we just thought that might be a bit boring. So the fighting part sounds exciting.
Mine were simple. Mine were just like, if like my son has a Duplo train, and I was thinking I could definitely just set that up so like whoever has the highest bid is currently controlling the train or something like that. And then maybe like if the train was under a certain thing, the owner would be collecting some kind of token. You know, you use some kind of trigger or mechanism or sensor within the real world and let people position and control things, similar to getting into weird positions in contracts, right? You have to move everything in the real world just right to then unlock some cool on-chain thing using sensors and all this like hardware you have. Props for the hardware too. I'm an electrical engineer by training, a bad one probably, but I love robotics and I love seeing physical stuff too. This is cool, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you, Austin.
Cool. Yeah, guys, keep it up. I'm looking forward to see maybe two robots fighting each other at the judging session or something. We're gonna do one last project, and that would be who did we just have? DefiPulse. If you are here and ready to go, it's gonna be our last one for the day. So I know Austin and Scott probably have other things to do.
Hi everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So DefiPulse, just as a reminder, it's a kind of monopoly to educate people about blockchain, decentralized apps, and DeFi mechanisms. It's decentralized game, so every action in the game is performed by a smart contract. There is no centralized server. To talk about technical things, I had to face several challenges during this design. The first one is a full decentralization that requires random numbers, and the random numbers can be provided by Chainlink via a feature. So I'm just integrating these features in my game. Second challenge is I would like seamless connections for user, because I would like to address users that doesn't know blockchain yet and that doesn't have an Ethereum account. So I think Portis is a very good port to connect people to the blockchain and to automatically create the account, and so it's more easy than MetaMask. I would like also fast and cheap transaction is very important for this kind of game. So I'm implementing the smart contracts I'm deploying them on Matic. It's a layer 2 solution. The next steps, I would like no fees transactions for the same reason. People doesn't have an Ethereum account at the beginning, so they don't have any native token, either Ether or Matic tokens, so they cannot pay for the transaction. So I would like to integrate a gas relay, but I would like the players to fund the gas relay indirectly. I don't want to pay for every players in my game, so what I would like to is using a pull together. So people are staking money on a pool, and the interest that are earned by the pool funds the gas relay. But that's on the layer 1, pull together, and the interest earning is on layer 1. That means we need a connection between what happens in the layer 1 for the users, for the pool together, and the gas relay on layer 2. It must be able to check if the user has contributed to the pool to allow gasless transactions. So I don't have chosen the solution yet for that. So I still need to investigate that. And last one, because there are some actions on layer 1 and other action on layer 2. I found port is very useful because you can easily switch from the 2 layers and you keep the same address. So it's very easy and completely transparent for the user. General overview, we've got on layer 1, we can connect to pull together and generate interest to fund the gas relay. And on layer 2, we have a contract that is a game factory. We can create all the contracts that manage a game session. And so people can interact with the game contract after that. And there is a Chainlink Oracle on Matic. They didn't have a nodes on Matic before, so I've deployed one with the support of Chainlink team. It doesn't support VRF now, so I still need to progress on that point with still with the support of Chainlink to get the VRF working on Matic. So let's see a demo. So don't pay attention to the look and feel. It's still under progress. So that's a first connection page using Portis. So let me refresh. Yes, so Portis requires a login. No, I'm logged in on the layer 1 on Girly. So here is my account. So can I have a look on Etherscan, this account? So to contribute to the pool, I need to stake USDC. So I need my balance of USDC to be more than 10 because the stake is 10 USDC, and I get my stake back. So it's a fake interaction there. It's just to show the demo. And now I have enough USDC. I can stake this USDC in the pool together. And I got a pool tickets from Pool Together. The ticket is a proof that I've contributed to this pool. So I'm now allowed to use the gas relay during the game. So I can enter the games. Now we are switching to Matic. Yeah. Oh, sorry, it's refreshing. Whatever. It's reloading on Matic. Oh, come on. A bit long. Yeah. So Portis is refreshing now. Now I'm on layer 2, same account, but on layer 2. I've seen different game sessions already existing, and I can join these sessions. So let's see this session. This session is managed by this contract. That's the game master contract. Okay, I will interact with this game master. I can start the game because it's not started yet. So I will send a transaction to call the contract and say, we start, we have 2 players. So here is the second player. So it's another account. It's 9471, 9471 is this one. Okay. So I've got 2 players on the same game. Sorry, I need to refresh because I should be able to play. I am the next player. No, here's the next player. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are 10 minutes over time, so I want to make sure we
Okay.
at least get some feedback from Austin
Okay.
and Scott real quick.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So here are my achievements. Yeah, you see the demo and the things that remains to be done. Still a lot of things. Integrate, pull together, integrate the gas relay, and complete the game. The
I would
game
say
mechanisms.
don't worry about the gas relay. Don't worry about pool together. Don't do anything on L1. Focus right in on that L2 piece where those two players were playing and they were rolling the dice. That's where it's all about. Make that fun. Focusing on making the game fun for the players will get you will make way more money in the long run than you will on some sponsorship prize if you can make a game that's fun for people to play. I would focus on this right here, the onboarding, getting people to the moment where they're rolling the dice and they're playing the game, and get rid of all the bumps in between. I understand you're saying gas network or gas station network or something like that. You can assume that they're going to have gas, they're going to be ready to play, set it up so they can do what you're doing right now. And I think that's the key piece.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Monopoly, but on the blockchain. But then the game looks more like a dice rolling game.
No, it's a Monopoly. It's inspired by Monopoly. It's not exactly Monopoly. I've changed the rule. I've adapted the rules to the crypto ecosystems. So you can launch ACOs, you can stake money, you can do these kind of things to use DeFi mechanisms in the game. So it's like Monopoly, but it's not the same rules that has been adapted.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. One thing, I don't know if the branding should make it seem exactly like Monopoly, and then you get in there and there's actually an original game, because there's so many times Monopoly itself has like done like a Disney movie version of Monopoly. And so I thought it was going to be exactly Monopoly. And then when you get in and it's actually like an original game that's a bit inspired by Monopoly, I think you might be kind of down selling yourself a little bit.
I agree. You're creating something
the,
really cool here. Yeah.
Yeah, like you've created something new, but like, you know, like there's Star Wars Monopoly, which is literally Monopoly with different Star Wars names as the Monopoly. But you're kind of like, I'm expecting that, but then once I get in, it's a new game. So I might kind of like communicate the originality a bit better and not sell yourself short.
So maybe it's as simple as like a different name?
Yes, yeah.
That probably do the trick. Maybe like DeFi Mogul or something. Or I don't know, just like something that kind of like communicates that it's a new game. Because that'll make people like novelty when they're trying a new product, and so more people will probably want to try something if they think it's going to be something they haven't seen before.
Okay, yeah, good. It's easier to explain when I say it's like Monopoly, but it's a bit different, yes.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's interesting. I definitely agree with all Austin said. Just like, you know, focus on the user. If you continue with this after the hackathon, definitely focus on the user and less on the sponsors or the integrations.
Okay.
It's a constant challenge for hackers figuring out what to prioritize. But yeah, it's good to see you at this point, and you still got a week to work out maybe some of the issues with having two players going. So I'm looking forward to see how you resolve those things. Cool.
Right. Thanks.
Cool.
Thank you, Ludo. All right, we are 15 minutes over, so I want to thank everybody for sticking around, including Scott and Austin. These guys are awesome, and you should follow them everywhere. They are very wise crypto men. They've got knowledge out the wazoo. So we're going to wrap here. If anybody has any questions or something that didn't get resolved, try to ping me in the Discord and I'll see what I can do. And remember that your video for next week is 4 minutes max. So it might feel impossible when you start to, record yourself talking about it, but it is actually possible. You want to get your concept across very quickly, and then this video is super important for getting judges to understand what your intention was with what you're building and how far you came along with that intention. So start to, when you're going through your demos or practicing it yourself, just keep that in mind. We'll have details on judging hopefully before this weekend. And any questions, again, just reach out to one of the team members. All right, we're going to wrap here. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you in the Discord.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Austin.